Welcome back. The very familiar face, very beautiful face, Joy Ermey is here from Weight Watchers. Welcome back. It's been a while.
It has, it has.
Joy is a Weight Watcher leader, and she is the best spokesperson for kind of living the plan. And you first started with Weight Watchers, just to remind some of our newer viewers, because you were a member.
Yeah, in September of 1999, I walked into Weight Watchers with a coworker, actually.
Okay.
I think I only joined because she said that we could do a lunchtime meeting, which meant that I could leave work for an hour. And I had just lost 25 pounds on my own, just on a diet. And I knew I was going to put it back on like I always had. I was always the chunkiest of my friends. I was always the one that sat in the passenger seat because you could fit more girls in the back seat of the car if Joy sat in the front.
Oh,
and
now that's hurtful.
Well, but it was.
Yeah.
I was aware of it, so I was just pretty lucky that when I turned 16 and I could drive, I had a really good excuse. Because then I could drive and I wouldn't have to worry about being, you know, squeezed in the back. And then I went to Weight Watchers and I realized even back then it wasn't my grandmother's Weight Watchers.
It was, yeah, even then it was new, different than.
Yeah, and it's getting better and better and better, and I love it.
And they adapt to the latest in nutrition science. I mean, that's the part that I've noticed really quite a bit in the last few years is that, okay, you know what, we know more about this, we're going to kind of adjust, you know, what we're recommending. And I mean, that's because we're always learning.
I'm amazed. I am amazed at the trainings that we go through as leaders. When I first went in, I thought, okay, if you were perky and you could get people to talk about their weight loss, that's all that a Weight Watcher meeting was about. You know, we applaud you when you do well, I get a sticker, I go home. But it's not. There's so much more to it, and the meetings are so much more robust than they used to be. We really do put a lot of knowledge and information into our meetings.
So right now, Lose for Good. Let's talk about that a little bit. I had the honor of getting to do some work for Lose for Good and Weight Watchers a few years back when Jenny McCarthy, the host of The View, was the spokesperson, but we went and talked about how you can lose but also give. So talk about Lose for Good. That's kind of going on just about now, right about now.
Yes. Well, a few years back when it first started, it was a leader who came up with the idea, and it's an outstanding idea. Here we are trying to lose weight, and there's so many people in the world that are hungry and go hungry every day and go to bed hungry. So she came up with a canned good drive. For every pound that you would lose during a few weeks' time, you would bring in the equivalent of what you lost in canned goods and donate them. And then Weight Watchers really took hold of that, and they said, you know what, in addition to what you're doing in your meeting rooms with collecting canned goods, we're going to give $1 to certain organizations, and it's Share Our Strength and Action Against Hunger. And we're going to $1 for every pound our members lose from September 15th to October 12th. And we're going to donate it to them up to $500,000.
And this, I think, is probably the third or fourth year, something like that, of Lose for Good. Fourth year? I don't know. It's been a while now.
Yeah, it's been going
on. But it's a really successful way to, you know, we talk about weight loss is hard for some people because you have to pay attention to yourself and you have to take time for yourself and make yourself first. And a lot of moms don't do that, but this is one of those, okay, you're also helping other people with this meeting. You're losing, you're helping people who are hungry. It's another way to, you know, to give if you're having a hard time making the time for yourself. It's like, you know what, I have to do this for me, but also I can help another person.
Well, and it puts quantitative amount to your efforts.
Right.
It's one thing to say, I worked really hard this week and I'm down a pound. But it's another thing to say, I worked really hard this week and I lost the equivalent of this can. But
actually the can is heavy. It makes you feel good. You keep talking. I'm going to find my water bottle.
Well, nobody ever wants to lose.
There it is. Okay, talk about Lose for Good. I'm running off to get my water bottle.
Now I'll start my tap dancing. No one ever wants to lose a pound because it's just a pound, but imagine a pound of butter. Imagine if you had that on your body and you could lose just 1 pound of butter or 1 can that weighs just over a pound.
Or 8 pounds is a bowling ball. Try picking up a
gallon of
ball.
milk. A gallon of milk is 8 pounds. Kitty litter bag. You know, we concentrate so much on, well, it's just a pound, it's just a pound. Well, my goodness, it does add up. And when you see it in front of you and you know you're helping somebody, and you're also knowing that Weight Watchers is giving $1 for every pound you're losing, it really is incentive to keep going.
All right. What is the back to school challenge? Like, how do we, you know, deal with back to school?
talking to it.
All right, I got this. Back to school. Well, September is that new first fresh time of year where you feel that, okay, I don't know, I joke that it's the diesel fuel, the bus fumes in the air that do something to us, but it's just like January 1st all over again. We're conditioned from when we're young that September is our fresh start. It's who's going to be in our class, who's going to be our teacher, and it's no different as we get older. For me, being a mom, my schedule gets a heck of a lot busier in September than it was in July and August.
So that's the challenge. I mean, that's all of a sudden you've got a whole bunch more things to do. And again, it's the last thing you think of is, oh, well, I'm going to plan my meal.
Yeah, well, like you said earlier, we're not the priority. That is the problem. I hear that so often in my meeting rooms. I don't have time.
Keep going.
I don't have time, but I have time to do everything for everybody else.
So that's part of what the meeting is, though, then explaining, all right, it's still important to take time for your commitment to health, and it actually helps you get everything else done.
It does.
It really does.
Because I've noticed, at least in my life, the small changes that you make really help to, it's a ripple effect, and it really helps to put everything else in your life in line.
Perfect. And that's kind of the thing that you're talking about, like, you know, week by week you talk about that, and then the final was a weekend. You have the other challenge is the weekends. You've done all this during the week, and then bam, here comes the weekend.
Well, 1/3 of our food decisions are made on weekends and holidays.
Right.
So if you're working so hard, and people do so great when they get back in a routine, so Monday through Friday, people are doing great. I'm eating this for breakfast, I'm doing this for lunch, I'm exercising, I'm walking the dog, and then Friday night hits and it's, yay, mini vacation.
Right.
But if we could help ourselves in that 1/3 of our year that we are spending with those food decisions on a break, if you will, if we could just tweak that and make weekends a little bit easier for us and more healthy, we wouldn't have to keep losing the same 4 pounds every week.
That is so mean. Some people say, you know, I'm going to have a cheat weekend, or I'm going to be off on the weekend. It's just not, that doesn't work for me, because I don't come back together on Monday. You know what I mean? I stay down that train, and then all of a sudden, oh, that 3 pounds comes right back, and why am I even doing this?
Yeah, and so on Tuesday is when you really get back in the swing of things. And Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and half of Friday, you are super on your activity plan, you're super in your meal plans, everything you're doing is fantastic. And say you're down 2 pounds, and then over the weekend you put on 3. So then you go to weigh in, or you step on the scale and you're discouraged, and you say, I worked so hard last week and I have nothing to show for it.
Let it slide all weekend. It's definitely a challenge for me. That's definitely, I mean, some
it's
people
self-defeating.
It is. And so what's the biggest way to combat that? What do you give people as they go off on a Friday afternoon through their weekends?
Well, the first thing is self-awareness. You have to know you, and everybody's so different. So look at your weekend and say, okay, this is what I do. And I have many members who have become very successful on weekends just by stepping back and saying, you know what, I journal everything that I eat and drink Monday through Friday, and I've never even thought about it Saturday and Sunday. If I can spend 4 minutes, 8 minutes, it doesn't even have to be a long time, just tracking my food or planning for a meal, it makes a huge impact on the rest of the week.
So that's great. Take one step on the weekend towards your healthy goal, which, let's just say, journal. Eat whatever you want, but journal it. All of a sudden you're eating less.
Oh, absolutely, you will eat less.
All right, when we come back, I asked Joy to keep in mind apples. Apples, apple, Joy. And she came up with some great recipes with the Weight Watchers cookbooks and Weight Watchers chicken cookbook. We're going to make those when we come back.